This is a lovely description. Yeah. Above the stretch and blaze of cosmic sight, above the silence of the worldless thought, formless creator of immortal forms, nameless, investitured with the name divine, transcending time's hours, transcending timelessness, the mighty mother sits in lucent form and holds eternal child upon her knees, attending the day when he shall speak to fate. This is what we have got here. And then let us take the ancient mother also along with that. Hundred eight, 120, 20. Now this is what Narad is telling. The ancient mother faces all with joy. Calls for the ardent pang, the grandiose thrill, for with pain and labor all creation comes. And 131.3, here ancient is A is capital. The ancient mother clutched her child to her breast, pressing her close in her enduring arms, as if earth ever the same could forever keep the living spirit and body in her clasp, as if death were not there, nor end, nor change. Now, this is a very, very important description in the yoga of Savitri. In the yoga of Savitri. Savitri has, of course, discovered her soul. The divine Savitri, the supreme Shakti, is now established in her soul. She has already achieved the Siddhi. Divine Savitri is already seated now in the soul of human Savitri. But that is not enough. That is not enough. You may get the divine power in your soul. It is not of much avail. It is necessary but not sufficient. Because what about nature? What about nature? Soul is all right. Your physical, your mental, your vital, all the elements which have sprung up from the inconscience, they are going to create havoc for you in your life, in your further development. You may sit in your soul, but that remains as it is. The physical, mental, vital, they remain as it is. What about them? So at that point, Savitri is told, after finding her soul and this identification of establishing the force in her soul, she is told, look, Savitri, you have to also see about the physical nature. It is that which will come in your way when you are confronting death. It is not by the soul force, but what about the physical? That will come in your way when you are confronting death. And death will catch hold of you there. That is not sufficient. So she is told very strongly, you have to annul yourself totally. All your physical, vital, mental, whatever you have got here of this nature, they have to totally disappear. You have to become God's void. Annul yourself totally. You have to become God's void completely. Empty out, because they will come in your way otherwise. And make room only for God to be. Empty out yourself fully, that you are making yourself fully God's. The way God would like to use you, utilize you, leave it to Him. Empty out yourself. And that is the true nirvana in Shivendu's yoga. What is nirvana for Shivendu? It is to take away all that belongs to the inconscience. It is that which has to disappear. It has to be blown out, nirvana. That is the true nirvana in this yoga. Blow out that thing fully. And Savitri attains that nirvana. Now, when she is told, empty out yourself fully, annul yourself fully, that only God may be, there is a danger. There is a danger that this Savitri may totally disappear into God, and she may not be of any avail to this creation then. If she disappears in God, then what happens here? How is she going to help? That is the dilemma at that point. Savitri cannot disappear like that. She has to be God's void, yet not disappear from this creation. That is the crux of the whole problem. And it is at that point then this ancient mother clutches her child back. Savitri, you can't go away like that. You had to be here. You had to remain here. You have a work to do here. The ancient mother clutches her child back. Otherwise, it would have been laya, what is called in the Sanskrit word, laya, disappearance, dissolve. You might dissolve yourself totally into God and be nothing. If you disappear, then the purpose is lost, totally lost. Laya. Savitri cannot disappear. There cannot be, there should not be any laya for Savitri. And it is that ancient mother who brings her back from that state, you see. And then, of course, things happen from that thing. Actually, this laya, this nirvana of Savitri is necessary, yet at the same time she cannot disappear. In the story of Ramayana, let's go back to Ramayana again. It is an occult fact that if you want to totally disappear yourself from this creation, totally disappear from this creation, if a particular soul wants to be away, totally away from nothing doing, nothing, dissolve totally from this creation, then there is a possibility of merging into the Supreme. So we are out of manifestation, totally. Ravana thought the best way of disappearing from this entire creation is by making God himself as his enemy and merging into him. So Ravana's fight against Rama is a mechanism, is an operational trick, so to say, of merging into the Supreme. He fights with Rama and totally disappears into him, into the Supreme. That is the laya. It means that he says, I am sorry, I don't want to be now anymore in the creation. I want to be out of manifestation. Enough of it, so to say. So he walks away like that by making God himself as his enemy, in that sense. He walks away from that. Now, well, that is a soul's choice. You can't help it. It can be like that. So make God your enemy, and then, but then really be strong so that God comes out with full force and dissolves you in him totally, absorbs you fully in him. You see, that is for exceptional. That is the story of the old Manvantara. Again, you see, all the strong, vital force which is there, that has to disappear. The full vital force, the asuric force which is there, that has to disappear. And that can disappear only by merging into the Supreme. And that is the end of one cycle of one Manvantara, so that the new Manvantara then begins. With that, the mental being steps into the picture, comes out. So that the vital is now totally gone into the supreme that we see. He stands for that, you see. So in a certain sense, Ramana's contribution is a very positive contribution to take evolution forward, to take it forward, make it move forward. So this ancient mother is something different here. See, now you have to see when Shebandu uses the mighty mother or the ancient mother and things like that, you have to see the context also. It is not one single phrase with a fixed dictionary meaning that you have to see. You have to see also contextually all those things. In the present context here, the mighty mother lay outstretched at ease. This is, of course, on the face of it, the description of nature. On the face of it, at once. But she is also at ease because what is intended is going to happen. So she is comfortable. She is happy. The destined place is there. The destiny is going to take shape here. So she is contented. She is happy also. Both things are there simultaneously in that phrase. Lay stretched at ease, nothing to worry. You see. All was in line with her first satisfied plan. Now that is why she is happy and at ease. Things are moving in the right manner, in the right direction, coming to a kind of resolution at a given moment, at a given point of time. And therefore all was in line with her first satisfied plan, moved by a universal will of joy. The trees, now the poet is giving us a different picture here. The trees bloom in the green felicity, and the wild children brooded not on pain. Wild children, animals, the beasts of prey, tigers, lions, all the ferocious bears, whatever you want to call them. And the wild children brooded not on pain because she is at ease. We have seen already, wide peace was there, deep peace was there in that place. At the end, declined, stern and giant, a tract of tangled depths and solemn questioning hills. So, the landscape is there. He is now shifting to the landscape description, geographically. We have got tract of lands and hills, questioning hills. What is this? Why we are here for? What is the purpose we are serving in this creation on this earth? Tangled depths, all the forest trees entangled into each other, and solemn questioning hill and peaks like bare austerity of the soul, armored, remote, and desolately grand, like the thought-screened infinities that lie behind the rapt smile of the Almighty tongue. Now there is a sudden shift of description here. And the poet moves from one description of the earth, he brings, now he rather carry the story forward. The story has to move forward. The mighty mother is reclining, she is at ease, she is comfortable, because she knows, so to say, in her soul, yes, the Almighty is there. So she is happy, she is comfortable. She doesn't have to worry about anything. Almighty is there. And Almighty in His joy, in His dance. Now this Almighty's dance, the obvious reference here is to Nataraj, Shiva. and it is a dance of joy, of creation, of creation. Like thought screened infinities. So the infinities are screened by thought, but behind those infinities, what do we see? A rapt smile. This is a rapt smile of the Almighty's dance. So the dance is a smile, you see. You see, it is a transferred epithet. It is the Almighty who is smiling. And then the description. See, he has already introduced the aspect of Shiva by a couple of phrases earlier. Solemn questioning hill, bare austerity. Shiva is austere, tapasvi, very ugra, as we call it, in his tapasya. Austerity of the soul, desolate, lonely, unconcerned about anything else, lonely, aloof, isolated from everything, grand, like the thoughts screened infinity that lie behind the rat smile of the Almighty's dance. And then the description continues of Almighty, of Shiva. A matted forest head invaded heaven. Matted forest head. That is Jata of Shiva. His hair entangled like that. It is he who stands there. Forest head invaded heaven. Now, this is a description of a mountain. You imagine that the whole rocky mountain is there, and as if the figure of Shiva is carved on that. On that rock, the figure of Shiva is carved. And it is that head which is assailing heaven. That mountain which is rising, that rocky mountain which is rising, on which the figure of Shiva is carved, it is that which is rising up here. As if a blue-throated ascetic, you see again we have seen earlier austerity, ascetic, blue-throated. Blue-throated, that is the name for Nilakantha. Nilakantha is Shiva's name. One who drank the whole poison of the creation. Because he drank the poison, his throat became blue. And therefore he is called Nilakantha, Sanskrit word. And this is what we have got, blue-throated. He is ascetic. He is a yogi, absorbed. So the mountain statue which is there is a living reality of the Almighty Himself carved on the mountain. It is a stone god full of life and dynamism. The blue-throated ascetic peered from the stone fastness of his mountain cell. You see, this is what I see now. This is from the mountain cell, he is carved on that thing. Regarding the brief gladness of the day, the passing days which are there in front of him, he is looking at them. He is constantly watching them, the whole scene. His vast extended spirit couched behind. So while he is looking, the passing days, his vast spirit is there behind all these movements, all these actions. That is the blue-throated ascetic Nilakantha, and his voice of great yogic meditation, absorbed. At the same time, aware of what is happening in this creation. A mighty, yes? You want to say? Yeah, we'll see that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's true. Why does he bring Shiva? Yeah, suddenly from the mother, the scene has shifted from the mighty mother to Shiva. You see, to the Almighty. You see. Now, obviously, the references are very clear. Also, in a certain sense, he says, "Dance." Shiva's dance. Yeah. Will come. Yeah, it's there. Yeah. Basically, Shiva is, as the mother says, he is the Lord of transformation, God of transformation. transformation. Brahma is the creator. Brahma is the creator. Vishnu is the sustainer who upholds this creation. But the transformation is by Shiva. So, in the context of the whole story which is being developed, it is quite pertinent that it is Shiva who should come here on the scene. Creative dance of Shiva, the way each dance, each facet of his dance is a creation of a new world. He constantly keeps on creating new worlds. That is what the dance means. The creative dance of Shiva means he is constantly creating new worlds. And in what? In his joy, in his happiness, gladness. He creates that thing constantly. Now, this is the, what shall I say, the true Shiva, Lord Shiva, the God of transformation. True, well, in our way of speaking. But in the Puranic descriptions, the descriptions in the Puranas, we have got the three Murti, three in one, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva or Mahesh in one, three Murti. Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the sustainer and Shiva is depicted there as the destroyer. Destroyer.